So this is your twisted square template. Once again, it's got the holes for easy grip to hang onto your template when you're cutting them out. It's got your 1/4 inch seam allowance holes in the corners there, and it's also got some very handy lines marked on it, so you can use those for when you're marking your quilting lines onto your quilt. So the twisted square makes a great little quilt. When you're sick of sewing squares together, you can do something like this, and it's just a quilt with a bit of a difference. I'll show you how easy it is to use this one. Basically, what you do is pop your template down onto your fabric, and using your 28mm rotary cutter, just cut around the edge. Now, Elizabeth has told me that you can cut 4 layers of fabric, so to make your cutting a little bit quicker. Some of the other equipment that you're going to need a marking pen, some tweezers, some little snips here, some pins, and then you're right to go. Don't forget your clear grip on the back of your template there to stop it from slipping. Once you've cut it out, mark where your seam allowances are, and you'll actually be really surprised at how easy it is to sew these curves together. So marking our seam allowance points there, so that gets marked onto the wrong side of your fabric. Then to put it together, so that's my right side, I'm going to put it like that, and I'm going to take one pin and I'm going to pin it right at the corner there, right into the seam allowance. So only pin the seam allowance, so pin into the point, into the little dot there, and out the edge like that. What I might do at the moment is, I forgot to mention, you've got to snip the seam allowance. So the seam only gets snipped onto the valley. Start about 1 inch in from the edge, and some little snips, so about 1/4 of an inch apart, and they're only 1/8 of an inch deep. And this is the secret to being able to piece these curves beautifully. These little snips work very well, snipping curves. Okay, so my first pin there, and then I get another pin. And just pinning my seam allowance there, like that. Now, when you sew, Elizabeth actually recommends not pinning the whole seam, but sewing as you go, which does make it a lot easier. So you'll start from here, so you have your 1/4 inch foot on, and then as you go, as you're sewing, just use the tweezers to pull the curve over. And you will find those little snips there, and just holding it straight as you go, you'll get a beautiful curved seam like that. So I'll just show you on one that I've already pieced here. So if you can see on that side there, a perfect meeting seam there. So that's the basics to joining your twisted square. And as usual, lots of different variations. So there's this one here, that there. So that one there was basically a 4 patch, and then you're just popping your twisted square on and cutting around it, and then just joining it together. That gives a very interesting effect. And then we've got another one here. And what Elizabeth's done with this one, this is a 9 patch, and then she's joined a border onto it, and then she's just put her template on. And she says if you put the most pointed end in the border there, like that, and cut around it, then you can join it together and you get these nice, interesting, wavy lines there. So that's the twisted square template.